It's difficult enough for a single mom to raise a family, much less a single mom with an extreme mental health disability. By the time I was in the third grade, my mother, our caretaker and provider, was spinning out of control. She was hospitalized again, and off we went to live with my dad and stepmother, until another custody battle was fought, which Mom would win again. She was probably hospitalized 8 or 9 times over long periods for the rest of her life. The drugs and the electroshock therapy began to take their toll. By the time I was in junior high, Mom was an embarrassment. My brothers and I didn't want to be around her. She had noticeable tics from the drug side effects, and as far as hygiene was concerned, she didn't give a crap. Poor Mom didn't have the capacity. When she would go deep into her psychosis, it was a total train wreck. On Easter Sunday, March 29, 1970, I was 14 years old. There were 2 tickets to see Led Zeppelin on my bedside table. This was during the Led Zeppelin II tour, when I was, and continue to be, a huge Led Zeppelin fan. I was stoked. I was lying in bed when a knock came from the front door. I looked out the window of my second-story bedroom. By this time, we'd moved from Bel Air to another area of Houston, and just beyond our mailbox were maybe 3 or 4 Houston Police Department cruisers parked out front. I knew they were looking for me, so I did what any kid would do. I hid in the closet. As it turned out, this was not a very good hiding place, and I was promptly arrested. During that time of my life, my friends and I would take cars and go on joyrides. The coup de grace was when we decided to have a little destruction derby in a vacant field near our under-construction neighborhood. It seemed harmless, but deep down we knew we were being destructive. I have to admit, though, that to this day a little smile comes across my face thinking about those times. I remember sitting in the police station and saying to one of the officers, "If you wouldn't mind calling my mom, I've got these 2 tickets to see Led Zeppelin tonight, and I'd really love to go." The officer laughed. Obviously. It didn't really matter one way or the other. Mom was in no condition to come get me anyway. She was sitting in her own filth, as I sat in the filth of thousands of miscreants, ne'er-do-wells and the dregs of society, just like me, who had been left in the Harris County Juvenile Detention Center for day 1, day 2, day 5, day 7, day 8. I finally came to the realization that no one was coming for me, except for maybe the transporter to take me to the prison for juvenile delinquents in Gatesville. But there was an upside. My time spent inside those sad, gray, stark walls was pretty spiritual, as I sat there saying, "Come on, God, show up." Finally, my biological father showed up. It turns out that he wanted me to marinate in that place before he got me out. But it was an important moment in my life, the moment when I began to see a pattern form in the tapestry of intertwining lives. Let me just say that my dad was not a great father, and I feel sorry for him because he missed out on that. And though his coming did not fix or repair all that was going on in my life, it did straighten out the course enough for me to be where I am today. Whereas many of my friends would have, and did, end up on the streets. No father or mother got them out. And so, despite any possible fleeting poor choices or unfortunate circumstances, they became locked into that system, meaning they sat there until they were released onto the streets, where they would stay because they had no place else to go. They became homeless, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and psychologically. The challenge, especially in dealing with such homelessness, is understanding. We have to recognize our own human weaknesses, our own fallibility. We have to realize that most of us are not that far from bankruptcy or foreclosure. Any of us could be laid off or suffer a sudden debilitating injury. Any of us could be negatively affected by the lottery of birth, born into a dysfunctional household with no father to come and get us out of jail, or simply drew the short lot. And then what? Where would we be? But I digress. Around the same time as my conditional conversion experience, my mother had one of her own. She became Roman Catholic. None of my siblings have any memory of going to church.